Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another episode of Inside DB Rated. This is the dual commentary series where we go ahead and spectate random matches on DB's lottery and just check out what people are playing. So this is going to be a match between Prankster on Dragonmaid versus Ibiza on Prank Kids. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. So it looks like Dragonmaid's going to take the RPS win, and they're going to opt to start. Both players have 40 cards, and the opening hand for Dragonmaid is going to be Hospitality, Prosperity, Nurse, Ash, and Tidying. So this hand's going to need Prosperity to definitely find a quality starter. Like this hand can put up like Heretic Seal, but it's going to be tough to actually get value because Nurse is not the one you want to open up with. Also interesting to see the Prosperity in this deck. I wonder if it replaces Extravagant or if you play both of them together. But this hand has the potential to be good. And then the opening hand for Prank Kids is going to be Dropsies, Lampsies, Fansies, Bell, Ash. So 2 hand traps, but a lot of normal summons, so that's not ideal. You would want like a fusion spell to pair with this, but this is pretty decent for what it's worth. Although very vulnerable to Ash. Gonna go Prosperity, that's gonna banish 6. Is the activation public? Yes. Yeah, because you can compare it to a card like Absolute King Backjack, where the effect is to look at the top 3, and then you don't show those to your opponent. But activations by definition are public. So it's the same with like Duality. But that's going to excavate pretty good cards. Probably going to take Chamber or Parlor here. Going to search for Chamber. And then the rest go back to the bottom of the deck. And we should actually look at the Extravagance, or sorry, the Prosperity Banish as well. So Amarash, Pisty, LP, Shao, House, Yugioh. I wonder if they play multiples of the Guard Dragons, because usually they only play one of each, even with like Extravagance. So we'll see what ends up being left in the extra, I guess. Chamber going to be normal summon. That's going to grab nothing because it's going to get ashed. And then going to go for a copy of Striker Dragon. And then going to activate Hospitality. That's going to be Ghost Belled. And then from here, just going to set Tiding and Pass. Still 2 interruptions. And against Prank Kids, it's usually pretty good. For Terra in the top deck, there is a Fusion spell. So that's pretty good. That'll help play through the Ash for sure. Going to normal summon the Fansies. And then go for a copy of Meow. And then activate Fansies effect. That's going to be ashed. And then going to activate Pandemonium. That's going to fuse away the Dropsies and the Meow for a copy of Rocket Ride. And then Fansies and Dropsies are both going to trigger here. Or sorry, just Dropsies. The Fansies was earlier. So Dropsies is going to trigger here for a copy of Lampsies. And then thinking here, going to Tiding actually target Striker Dragon and the Rocket Ride. And I think that's actually just going to be the end of the turn, because Meow can only be Link Summoned once per turn. So they could have actually Pandemoniumed away the Dropsies and the Lampsies in hand. And that would kind of play past the Tidying, which is a card that you should probably assume that Dragonmaid players have. Like, pure Dragonmaid definitely plays 3 of this. But yeah, that's just going to be a pass for sure. And the top deck is going to be Warlock Guard Dragon. That's quite nice. So we have Nurse to bring back. We have Tidying. We have Warlock Guard Dragon. So we have at minimum 4 bodies. Going to normal summon the Nurse. That's going to bring back the Chamber. And then Chamber triggers here. That's going to summon or search for a copy of Changeover. And then from here, you're going to activate Changeover. That's actually just going to hard fuse for a copy of House. Usually you don't see this too often, but not bad for sure. Tidying going to bring back the Chamber. And then going to Changeover, back the Chamber. These sound very similar, but those are both going to go back to hand. And then going to Changeover here. That's going to Fusion Summon for a copy of Xiao. And then going to Warlock Guard Dragon, back the copy of Chamber. And then going to proceed to Battle Phase. At the start of Battle Phase, we're going to activate Chamber, which can special summon a level 7 or higher Dragonmaid, so it can bring back the House. And this was properly summoned via Changeover because it was Fusion Summoned, so that works. Usually this is like tagged out into via Xiao, so like this can't bring this back, but here it definitely can. So gonna attack over the Lampsies with the House, and then Xiao gonna get in for 35. And then gonna pass. For turn, the top deck's gonna be Poly. That's not gonna be very good here. Would have liked that last turn, like with the Lampsies. But yeah, not gonna be great here. Xiao gonna be using Standby Phase. That's gonna summon the Chamber out of hand. And then Chamber effect is gonna search for a copy of just clarifying here, copy of Hospitality for follow-up. And I don't think this hand can play past just Xiao. Gonna normal summon the Lampsies and then go for a copy of Meow. And then gonna negate it with the Xiao. And yeah, it's gonna be the end of game 1. So that's kind of a problem with Prank Kids sometimes, where going second especially, it's hard to play in a disruption. But Dragonmaid putting in the work even through 2 hand traps, so pretty good stuff. So gonna go to game 2 now, and it looks like Prank Kids are gonna start things off. If you guys are enjoying this commentary, definitely be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand this time around for Prank Kids is going to be Bell, Instant Fusion, Pranks, Fansies, and 1-for-1. I don't know why the image is broken here, but you can see it's 1-for-1. So this is pretty decent. Has a lot more extenders than the last time, and has Bell to back things up. And then the opening hand for Dragonmaid is going to be Changeover, Chamber. Again, these two like next to each other. Parlor, Downtime, and Twin Twister. So no hand traps, but Twin Twister is good against Prank Kids because you can stand by face hit the Pandemonium, which is pretty decent. Gonna normal summon the Lampsies and then go for a copy of Meow, and then that's gonna trigger the Fansies to dump a copy of Lampsies and go for Dropsies. And then gonna link those off into a copy of Dodo, and then Dodo and Drops both trigger, so that's going to summon a copy of Lampsies and then grab a copy of Pandemonium. And then from here, the Dodo is gonna activate to add back Fansies and Dropsies. So Battle Butler's on right now. And then gonna activate Pranks. That's gonna pitch the Dropsies actually to go for a token. And then gonna link those off into another copy of Dodo. And trigger Lampsies here for a copy of Roxy's. What made Dodo? Yes. Going to go for a copy of Bow Wow. And then trigger the Roxy's here. Oh yeah, just taking the 500 from Lampsies. Gonna bash 1-for-1 to draw a copy of Ash, it looks like. And then Roxy's gonna summon the Lampsies. And then going to set Pandemonium and then end phase the Pranks triggers. So that's gonna put back Dodo, Lampsies, and Roxy's. And then draw a copy of another Ash. So yeah, the Battle Butler is still alive because of Bow Wow. But Twin Twister again is gonna shut that off. Gonna draw Nibiru for turn, right on time as usual. So gonna activate Twin and Standby, pitching Nibiru to hit the back row. And then going to normal summon the Parlor. That is going to Foolish a copy of Tidying and then go for Striker Dragon. And then going to Tidying, that's going to be Belled. And then go to Battle Phase, it's going to attack over the Lampsies. And then gonna set Downtime and then pass. I wonder if pitching Nibiru was right there, because like now there's not gonna be Nibiru for next turn. And they should assume that there's no Nibiru because like they didn't get Nibiru turn 1, and then like that was probably very clearly the top deck if it was pitch off Twin there. Gonna activate Bow Wow in the end phase. It's gonna banish the Meow as replacement, and then go for the Pandemonium and Lampsies to add back. And then draw for turn, draws Cosmic, which is pretty good. Downtime isn't even alive here because there's no Dragonmaid to target. So that's gonna pay 1,000, banish. And that's just gonna be the end of game 2. Yeah, pretty sure that was just gonna be game in the bag. So moving to game 3, which are pretty quick games here for sure. Dragonmaid's going to go first again. And just going to quickly shout out my patrons as usual before we start game 3. So thank you guys so much for supporting the content. The long form and consistent content is made possible thanks to you guys. And if you guys are interested in checking out the Patreon, definitely check it out in the description below. But we're going to go and look at the hands here for game 3. So the Dragonmaid's hand is going to be Earnest, Parlor, Hospitality, Prosperity, and Solemn Strike. So pretty good hand for sure. Always sucks to draw like the big ones, but the rest of the hand is quite nice. I wonder what Prosperity is going to get access to here. But the opening hand for Prank Kids is going to be evenly Ash, Polymerization, Dropsies, and Pandemonium. Pretty interesting for sure. Has Hand Trap, has a Go Second card, but the hand is not very filled with extenders, so it's going to lose out to a lot of like disruptions. Going to normal summon Parlor, and then use the effect to bin a copy of Changeover, and then going to activate Pot of Prosperity. That's going to excavate a whole bunch of monsters. I wonder if you grab Downtime here. We are going to grab Downtime, so opting not to add like Chamber and then summoning off like Hospitality or anything. Asking to read the Trap, and then going to Changeover effect, that's going to add back itself and the Parlor. And then going to Changeover, fusing with the Earnest, so just going for Xiao instead. That's going to hit the board, and then Hospitality going to be ashed. Which again, this can be ashed because it includes an effect to send the Dragonmaid afterward. And then going to set 2, and then pass. In standby phase, Xiao going to activate. That's going to bring back the Parlor. And then Parlor effect, that's going to send a copy of Tidying. And then going to go to battle phase. Oh, wait, I didn't even see the top deck, and I missed almost the most important part. Hold on. I almost missed the most important part of this video. A Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Cyframe. Alright, we got that out of our system. Gonna go for battle phase and go for evenly matched here. That's going to be negated by Shao, of course. And then House is going to hit the board. And then main phase 2, we're going to see a normal summon of Dropsies, and then go for a copy of Meow. And then Dropsies actually going to strike the summon of Meow, so this was never used for a Link summon since the summon was negated. So yeah, that's not going to be very good for Prankids for sure. And that's just going to be the end of the match. So honestly, not that many interactions in those games. Like the games are over by turn 2, basically. But it's interesting to see these decks in action for sure. Dragonmaid being one of the sleeper decks in the format as it continues to be. But yeah, definitely a pretty solid showcase of what the deck's strengths and weaknesses are in both cases, I think. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like if there's any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.